What's up, y'all? Hey, guys, we got Matt and Big Ticket in the building. Say what's up, y'all.
What's happening? Thanks for having us.
Yes, yes. Thanks for having us.
I don't even know his real name, y'all. I just call him Big Ticket because
That's how we like to keep it.
That's all you need to know,
that's
government
how it
free,
that's how
government
it
free.
was. I was like, oh, that's Big Ticket, right? Matt would just laugh at me. He would just say, yeah, Big Ticket.
It was so funny because y'all had never been introduced yet, and so she's like, "Big ticket." I'm like, "Yeah, that's big ticket." that's it.
Big Ticket Wilson. Okay, now you know the last name. That's it.
All right, so Matt and Big Ticket are, affiliated in the music industry somehow. What first got you into music? Because Matt, you sing, right?
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of
Yeah,
everything.
it was
So,
it was the Lord of the Rings actually. When I was like in fourth grade, there was a part at the end of the movie that I learned to play on the recorder. Uh, Played it at a talent show. The crowd erupted. I was like, I'm made for this. I'm made for this music stuff right here. So that was the initial thing that made me fall in love with music, and then just trickled
what
up from
grade?
there.
What grade was it?
That was fourth grade. Probably
Oh,
earlier than that, but fourth grade is when I actually like applied it to something.
and you, Big Ticket, you manage artists?
Yeah, manage artists.
So, yeah.
What got me started, I think, was serenading the girls back in elementary school with my voice, being in the boys' choir. But no, I just always had a passion for music, a love for music, and business was kind of my thing. So that was the lane that I found.
He writes too. He's written a couple Co-Wetzel songs. I don't know if you've heard of that guy or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw Coetzel like a few years ago. Nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
And the only song I knew was that Who's Gonna Take Me to Taco Bell? I
Yep.
don't even know what that song's called, right? But he played over here in the Fort Worth at the
Yeah.
Coliseum. And they're like, oh, yeah, Coetzel. I was like, I don't know who that is. But yeah, it was like 4 years ago, 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And now he's
Pretty
like,
big
what?
now.
Pretty big, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what song would you say, Matt, was your most difficult to write?
I don't feel like the writing is the hard aspect. Usually the writing and recording is like a 24-hour process. A lot of my lyrics I've had for months, years. I just write them when I feel inspired by different things, different life events. But the production, the mixing, and that final mastering, that's usually the most time consuming. So, man, I don't know. I don't think there's been one that was really difficult. There may be one that I stick on for a little bit too long, and I just need to get rid of it and put it out. But that's every time I put out a multi-length project as opposed to a single. That's why I've been sticking to singles recently. I just let it fly. I don't overthink it.
What has been your favorite song so far?
The new one, that Urbano Latino,
Yeah,
Vampira.
Bad Bunny
Yeah,
vibes
Bad
over
Bunny
here.
vibes. Yeah, it's May, and we're shooting the video in Mexico, so I had to get something ready for the summer
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
was like, when are you shooting this video? And Matt was like, oh, we're going to shoot it. I thought we were going to shoot it locally. And next thing you know, I see, oh, we're going shooting it in
Yeah,
Mexico.
you're invited.
Yeah.
Bring the
You
group.
can't really green screen a
You
beach,
can't.
You can try,
You
maybe.
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
Me and Ticket have been to Cancun so many times. We've got good connections out there. People with boats and women imported from all parts of the world. No idea where, but they'll be
I'm crying.
the
Women imported, not.
La
legally.
Dos
Pinta, the
Equis?
Santa Maria,
So we were in Mexico this time last year. Actually, it was like May when Bad Bunny dropped his album, and I have not gone a single day this year without hearing a Bad Bunny song. So I mean, that's that kind of music. We're so close to the border down here. It's always going to be a strong influence, and having Hispanic roots, I need to tap into that more. This guy's the reason probably why I did. He's like, man, you need to stick to the half English, half Spanish songs. They're gonna blow up. So
Exactly,
that's the
Yeah.
because
girl.
you got gringos like me jamming out the Spanish music, and I don't even know the lyrics, but I'm in my
Same.
car like, so hey, come on, put it out, drop it.
Yes,
I know
sir.
I'm Hispanic, but, I don't really know how to speak Spanish, guys.
Same here. It's bad.
But I'll put it on and, I know every other word, maybe. One word, though. Amor. Oh, okay. I
It's a
know
love
what,
song, all
I know
right.
what that means.
We're jammed to this.
Big Ticket, if you could like manage any artist, who would it be?
Good question.
Great question.
Truthfully, honestly, the artist that I'm managing now. But if I could add anybody maybe to the roster, and again, I just like to help people that I have relationships with already. Maybe I could go ahead and manage this guy right here. We'll see what happens. But that's
Yeah.
it. Just the people who I'm currently working with, I feel like we got a good thing, and just want to see it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many shows? Because I think when I first met you, Matt opened up for, who did you open up for, Matt?
It was the Houston Legend Zero. I did
Yeah.
not belong at that show, but it didn't matter. It's exposure, baby.
Yeah. How many artists have you like had, throw some, what do you even call it? Like, because you have the shows for them,
Yeah,
right?
like
So
coordinate events,
there you go. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't even know what you call it, throw shows for.
yeah, or if I want to
Yeah.
say that, I'm a promoter or anything
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
that. But I mean, I put on over 50, 60 events over
Yeah.
the last 5 or 6 years. I've worked with well over 100 plus like notable artists, Grammy winners, artists that had platinum singles, things like
Yeah.
that. And I've just been able to develop a network and relationship with a lot of people who I grew up listening to, especially being here from Texas. So it's
I
been
think that
cool.
Jeez.
The Kodak story is my favorite.
Yeah.
Tell what did he want from his rider? Whatever y'all are.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So we brought Kodak back to in Dallas back in 2018. And so on his rider, so on the rider, it's the contract, basically like food items that you have that you're going to get. And I remember, Kodak came, he was behind the venue in the bus and he stepped off the bus and he took this big, like, deep breath in, like he was smelling the air and he was like, "Ooh, I want some barbecue."
That was good.
All
And
right.
sure enough, like 5 minutes later, like his manager, one of maybe his team members or whatever, was like, "Yo, Kodak doesn't want the food y'all have. He wants barbecue." And the funny thing was, his original rider was like, it's very stereotypical, but it was like fried chicken and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like Southern comfort food. But he smelled the barbecue. He's like, "Hey, I want barbecue," so we got him
Yeah.
barbecue. Yeah.
Damn,
Then
he
went and
smelled that in
performed.
the air.
Hey.
It's Texas.
Yeah, over there in Deep Ellum, it's
Yeah.
right there.
That's hilarious. So if you ever, come in contact with Drake first, let me know
Okay.
because I'll be right there.
It's probably booked for like 3 years, but yeah.
I got you. I got you.
That being said, what artist do you admire the most, Matt?
We have the same favorite artist for sure. It's definitely Drake for the ability to adapt over the past like 12, 13 years. Really, his sound was probably those first 4 years. That was his sound, which was adapted from Lil Wayne and other Toronto artists at the time. But adapting to new artists and continuing to put out, multi-platinum projects, and then just being really business-minded with the advertisement, with the clothing, with the other ventures and partnerships that he does. I think that's probably why. And then of course the production from 40. Really, I think is 40 what made me fall in love with the music first, and then grow from there from the inspiration.
What about you, Big Ticket? What artist do you admire the most?
Um, I mean, honestly, just because like I've always been so entrepreneurially focused, I really respect and I look up to the guys that have done something outside of
Yeah.
music. You kind of touched on that, but like artists that are like, Jay-Z,
Yep.
more of the older school who has built a large brand and business, or even artists that are newer, like Little Baby, who I see the same things in.
Hmm.
He's got great music, but he's trying to do more for his community. He's trying to set himself up to create generational wealth because like music is so fleeting. Things that are popular are just in style now. It's all a fad. So it's like when I see artists that are focused on actually creating something besides music, it motivates me to also do the same in my own businesses. So those are the type of people who I look up to besides of, "Hey, I really love your music, that song, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera."
Jay-Z made more off his 50% stake that he sold in his liquor company than he did with any of his music in
Absolutely.
25 years. So
Yeah.
that music pushed him into a bigger brand into business, putting all that money basically. You don't make a lot in the music industry unless you're touring nonstop every year, and even then you maybe get 20, 25% of your sharing. So what you do after your time is up, which is maybe a 10-year window, that's really where it's going to kind of separate the artists that are generational and just fly by night.
Yeah, because the rule of thumb for anybody in anything that you do, when you get eyes on you and you get the attention, it's not the attention that's important. It's what you do with that attention.
Yep.
What do you do with the eyes that you
Yep.
have on you? So,
Right.
what do these artists do once they built these brands and all these people are following them for their music? Do they turn it into something else?
Honestly, like I wish I could sing. I wish
Can't. Just got to be really close to the pitch, and the auto tune can do the rest. Don't worry about it.
Or the shower makes you great.
Yeah. Natural reverb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lets you tone really. Yeah. Honestly.
I know. I was like, man, I wish I could sing. Because, like, my favorite part, like, is like the music videos. Every time Me and You by Cassie comes on, I'm always just like dramatic about it. And I was like,
It's a good
dang,
one.
I was like, I wish I could sing. I could just be like dramatic and feel through the music video. But I was like, I can't. I'm not that cool.
You can do anything you want in this world.
With that being said, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, guys. So for like when you write a song, do you is it like the same certain situations that are happening with you now?
There's moments. There's moments where a situation will inspire writing, or I'll go to past writing and add to that. Um, I would say situational stuff is more gives me the inspiration to record more than to write. Um, Sometimes writing's embellished too. Sometimes you're writing for perspectives of other people. Like we were speaking about Drake, that's what makes him such a good artist is he has the ability to relate to both genders when he's writing. And you may not feel it immediately, but maybe you go play back something old and you're like, man, I was going through that. I just didn't know how to put it into words. And that's, I think that's what separates artists as well from people that are recognized is how well can you relate to the everyday situation that people go through, and not just keep it so isolated to yourself. How can you branch out and relate to what everybody's feeling, no matter what it is they're going through.
So I wonder if people like lie in their songs. Do you
Oh
think?
yeah, all the time. Yeah,
Every song,
every
Really?
song, yeah,
especially in like rappers. I
especially
mean,
rappers.
yeah, because I'll be honest, I've been around so many rappers that it's like, dude, you're 5'4", 110 pounds soaking wet. Like you're not doing any of the stuff that like my 13-year-old niece could beat you up. You know what I'm saying? So they're definitely embellishing and
Yeah,
lying, but that's what sells. So
yeah,
hey,
Well, do you think humans are liar by nature,
ooh.
that's deep. I don't think I'll
Yeah.
let you go
or
first.
just liars and they're just lying in their
I'll
songs?
let you go
I,
first on that one.
I don't think that everybody is, innately a liar, or just by nature. I think there are, outside influence, things that play into it, your upbringing, stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing about, people is that we just take the path of least
Yeah,
resistance. So if there's a situation where we're going to get some pushback or we're going to hurt someone's feelings, generally we'll kind of tiptoe around the tulips. Um, Instead of just saying exactly what we should say, which is the truth. And
yeah.
it's just, again, like I said, we just take the path of least resistance. So people aren't naturally liars, but sometimes people just take the easy route, and generally lying is the easy way.
I don't think we're born liars. I think it's conditioned at a very early age. I think we're very truthful, maybe up until like 5, 6, 7 years old, and then kids learn to lie very quickly to avoid getting in trouble. And we use that same instinctive response as we get older to avoid, like you said, hurting feelings or to avoid confrontation or resistance in a situation. It's different with men and women. It's different men lying to men and men lying to women. They're very different. I may lie to a woman because I truly care about her and I don't want her to feel something that I know is going to destroy what we have. It's kind of fucked up,
But
but
it's still gonna hurt her feelings because you're
if she
lying.
never finds out, it'll never hurt her feelings. But there's also relationships with women where they're straight up with me and I know they're truthful and they don't hold anything back and I can be this like
Oh.
we've never told each other a lie, I don't think ever. I think we're always very truthful about any conversation we've ever had.
No, Matt, you've definitely lied to me
I
before.
have, but then you've called me out on it and then I've told you the truth. So it's a little different. It's a little different. So
I'm
I don't think
crying.
we're not natural born liars though. We're definitely
Why?
we're
Well, why
taught.
it's so hard for people to be truthful? Like,
Like what he said. It's in that moment, do you want to deal with that immediate resistance? Where are you at in that moment when you're about to lie? And if you lie, is it to continue that same mood or that same element that you're in, or do you want to completely alter how that day is going to go, how that moment's going to go with that specific person? You know what I mean?
yeah, I remember when I was in high school, man, I used to lie to my parents like crazy, just because. I mean, I wasn't allowed to do anything. Like, they had such a curfew on me. I had to tell them everything I was doing, and I wanted to hang out with my friends. And you're in high school, do your thing. But so I was like, okay, I'm going to my friend's house, but I actually went to a boy's house.
I think
You know.
that's what made me a good liar, unfortunately.
So, quick question for you: what's something you feel like you would lie to a man about?
Oh, great question.
I really, what something I feel.
No,
I
don't
don't
think about
know
it.
Or here's a more
because
direct
I don't
question:
like lying because I have a feel.
do you lie
If
about your intentions?
do I lie about my intentions?
Yeah. So when a man, like for example, your interest level and things like that, your intentions with a man, do you lie about your intentions?
No, I think I'm pretty much upfront about it, and then half the time they're like, I don't want a relationship. And I might say, okay, I don't want a relationship either, but then deep down, maybe I do. So maybe I won't. It's not 100% truthful,
It's a
but
tough situation to describe because if two people early on are like too eagerly involved, someone's
Yeah.
going to push back. Someone's going to be like, "Oh fuck, this
Yeah,
is too
right.
easy," or that's where that happens. So maybe in that situation, you should lie next time.
Or a lot of times, the person who we're lying to is not the other person. We're
Yeah,
lying to ourselves
that's a good
about what
point.
do we really want. And instead,
That.
we're catering to their feelings
Yeah,
Yep.
because we know they don't want what we want. So therefore, we end up
yeah.
lying.
I think that's my problem, honestly.
Yeah, I have that sometimes. I'm just curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what's your perspective on dating women with kids?
2 for 2, man.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm older. I'll take this one. Um, my perspective is that I think that you would probably be naive to completely close yourself off to dating women with kids. I think about, just where you are in your life, if it's right for you or not, because there are a lot of good women with kids, that are responsible, that work hard, and they'll actually be better spouses and partners to you because they kind of have that responsibility that they're working towards. But then maybe there's the other side of single mothers that maybe have baby daddy drama, and maybe they're not the best parents. They're out at the club partying every weekend when they shouldn't be, right? And it's like, hey, you can have your fun, but
Bottle
maybe you
rats.
don't need to be in your stories, twerking, because your kid's going to ultimately be like, Mom, that was you 10 years ago. So there's kind of a fine line, but I definitely think that I'm open to dating women with kids. But my most ideal situation would be finding a woman who hasn't been married, that hasn't had any kids, because
Hmm.
I myself haven't experienced that. And I'd like to experience that with someone for the first time.
That's a good point.
What about you, Matt?
Man, I'll be acquaintances with women with kids, but I don't know if I could. I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I've worked very hard to build what I have, and I want to enter that into that next stage of life with someone that's done the same. That's why I'm very patient with who I choose to kind of build that life with in the future, and I think it's got to be somebody that's been working on themselves equally as long. And maybe they made a mistake early on in life and they have kids, but most women that do, they've got that baggage with them. There's very few mothers out there that are their entire life is their kid. And if it is, it's the ones that are posting their kids all the time. They don't have time to go out. They don't have time to do anything else but focus on their children. Those are the women I might consider dating with children, but it's very rare. You don't see that very often.
And then I just have like a little bit like traditional views on the sense of
Yeah.
like where I want to be a provider, right? My wife can work, she can do all that stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not saying to stay home, but at the end of the day, there's a certain type of level of respect that will ultimately come when a man provides. And so when there's another child that maybe isn't yours, your wife's ultimate responsibility first is to that child.
Mhm.
It's not to
Hmm.
you, the husband, right? But when you're in a relationship and you have kids, your first responsibility as a spouse should be to your significant other, and then second comes the children. So sometimes when you're entering in a relationship with someone who already has kids, men and women, they prioritize obviously those kids over you. So you just got to be okay with being second.
Which is also if they prioritize the kid, they probably still secretly prioritize that relationship with the father a little bit, unless the father's completely absent in the life. But you're always going to have that baggage as well. So just tough one to answer. I like the question though.
I know. It was like, I used to be so against it. Like, really? It was like 5 years ago. I was like mid 20s, early 20s. I don't even know. But I was so against it. Like, but then now that I'm older, and then I was like, okay, a lot of people do have, are having kids, but I don't know. I'm still in between.
Can I ask
Haven't
you?
fully committed to a decision yet, whether I want to or not. But
We'll ask you again in 5 years.
yeah, ask me again in 5 years. And we'll see what happens.
Okay.
What do you live by? What's y'all's motto?
He's got a great one.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, my motto is big ticket or no ticket. That's the motto that I live by. That's my saying, a little catchphrase. But honestly, what that means at its core is just how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And so I try to approach each situation with my best. And I try to give my all to each situation, whether that's business, friendships, family, relationships. That's what I try to do. So that's my motto.
Absolutely.
Wait, let me run that back. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Correct.
I like that.
Yeah. It's biblical.
Very. That will
is.
stay with you in the
It is.
heart right here. What about you,
Oh
Matt?
man.
What's your motto?
Mine's more of a, I don't want to say mantra. I feel like everything's been so overhyped over the last few years, but stuff I've been doing for years. Every day in the shower, I say it 8 times. every day and in every way I'm getting better and better. And I say it over and over. And when I'm doing that, I'm usually like envisioning what I want to accomplish, even if it's that week, that year, even if it's 10 years in the future. Like I'm using those moments to just like internalize what I want. And in most cases, it's something projected in the future that I'm close to. And in most cases, I make it happen. And so it's just staying present. A lot of people are overcome with thoughts about the future, thoughts about the past, but we have like these moments right here. Like Kim didn't hit the record button, and we had to do this entire thing twice. and
Why
we
is that
and we
everybody my
literally
secret?
we literally did the entire thing over, and it's almost identical to the first one. So it's just like staying present, you know. And so it's I think that's a big one for me, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Rick Ross says, I'm sorry. I got to throw it in again. You know, forget yesterday, you know, live today. Don't worry about tomorrow.
Amen. I have what's for you or not past you. I have like a, you know how you can do little widgets on your phone.
Yeah,
I have that on my phone. I don't know because I read it every
Sticks with
time I
you.
open my phone, so it just stays with me. Like I know what's for me will come.
subconscious.
Yes.
You got to embed it. Everything else is embedded subconsciously, negatively. We're hit by so much negative stuff every day. It's important to stay grounded.
Because you'll never step into your future if you're worried about your past.
Yeah. Amen.
I like that. Wow, that's nice.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
What is y'all's last question? Favorite pizza?
Oh yeah, slice of pizza.
Oh, it's a toxic relationship. Canadian bacon and pineapple.
Ew. You
That's-
like pineapple on pizza?
That's the OG. If you're a kid, every kid has had that at least once.
No,
So, don't
because
know
I
what's-
refuse.
No, you're only refused because it became a topic of discussion like 5 years ago.
Hey, like this video if you eat pineapple on your pizza. Okay? Come on, show me some love.
It's Hawaiian, man. Ruby Rosa in Little Italy in New York. But if I'm local, Grimaldi's brick oven. Ooh, so good, so good.
This is some serious pizza, guys.
Serious is great,
No,
too.
literally serious. Like that's what it's called.
Yeah,
It's-
serious is great.
Local in the DFW Metroplex. It's been sitting here for an hour though because you know we had to re-record.
We're gonna edit it.
Shout
make
out
it
to me.
look steamy.
So,
It was fun though. Definitely fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
well, thanks guys for coming, doing this take two because
Yeah.
I'm not great on the technical side.
It's okay.
Clearly, I'm
We
still
got it
learning.
done. Everything worked out. Everything worked out.
Well, thank you guys, YouTube fam. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment.
Right now.
You can find Kimball's Slice of Life podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Right
and Amazon
now.
Music. We
Right
will
now.
see y'all in 2.
Wish you were here. The album May 28th.